Good afternoon. It is Monday, March 15th, 2021. The Senate Education, Finance, and Policy Committee will come to order. Good afternoon, everybody. We have several bills on the docket today, and we are broadcasting live again from our committee room 1100. Never thought I'd say it, but it looks good inside here. Anyway, first on deck today is Senator Cwodzinski. You're here with us?
I am.
Excellent. Senate File 240, and you have an amendment, correct?
I do, Mr. Chair.
All right.
The A2 amendment.
All right, A2 delete all, correct? Authors?
Correct.
All right. So authors amendment members, all in favor? Get your camera on, mics and all that on mute. All in favor of the authors amendment for Senate File 240, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we got 240. Senator Cwodzinski, I'm very excited to have you go and discuss your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. The bill before you today as amended would require that Minnesota students take a civics class during their junior or senior year, and also allow for students to have the option between learning either economics or lessons in personal finance. Some of you may remember that both these provisions have seen substantive work over the last 4 years, last couple years, as we have made changes and compromises to help accommodate various stakeholders. Currently, our state does not require a civics class in order to graduate from high school. We have civics standards that can be embedded into the curriculum, but not a standalone, full-on American government class, which I think most Minnesotans would agree is imperative to the high school experience in preparing the kid for the 21st century. Government has become increasingly more complex over the years, and a dedicated standalone course is required to provide for an engaged and enlightened citizenry. Now is the perfect time to make American government a required course, as we are updating our social studies standards anyways. We can align these standards as we start requiring the course. Another stipulation in this bill is many schools in Minnesota require it in 9th grade if they do require it. And the reason I want this class in 11th grade and 12th grade rather than 9th grade is students are starting to get their driver's licenses. Students are starting to register to vote. Students are going to precinct caucuses and signing up to be an election judge. Students are registering for selective service. Students are getting their driver's licenses and paying sales tax and income tax and gas tax. Students are starting to plan what's going to be on the horizon. In 9th grade, none of that is even in the child's mind. But by the time they get to be 11th and 12th grade, those things are real for them. And we need to require a class in civics to help them prepare for writing letters to their public, to writing letters to us, to writing letters to the local newspapers, to attend civic meetings and town halls in a civil manner, to visit us when this pandemic ends in our offices as constituents and lobbyists. The greatest menace to freedom is a disinterested and disengaged citizenry. Political efficacy and civic virtue and civic engagement are necessary ingredients that need to be part of the high school experience. Our Constitution begins with the words, "We the people of the United States," in order to form a more perfect union. It's hard for us to form a more perfect union when we don't even understand the rules it takes to make that union more perfect. We cannot continue to let our high school students down. They need to understand how democracy works. A recent report called the United States of America a flawed democracy. We are 21st in world rankings in public participation in governance. We should be #1. To provide the provision relating to personal finances that was added to the bill this year will help the students navigate the 21st century's economic needs that they have, and to help them develop their own personal finances. Things like student debt and car shopping and home ownership and paying the bills and all those things necessary. Well, anyways, most of you have heard my reasons for wanting this bill before in the past. Today, I have two testifiers I'd like to introduce to you, Brian Sibley and Nasir Nurkati. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Turn your mics down.
Or back up. Maybe if you sit in the other room, we could hear you a little bit less there. That's fine, thanks. So first up, we have Mr. Sibley, and then Narcotti, I believe was the way to pronounce it. I hope that was right. So Mr. Sibley, you're up.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I have 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to be as on time as possible. When I think about this, when Senator Cwodzinski asked me to do this, I was thinking about what is the purpose of our institution of education, whether we're talking about math, science, or whatever it is. And my thought is, it is to prepare our young citizens to go out to be productive citizens of society. And we start talking about American government and how our democracy works. Having these students do this at age 17 and 18, I've been able to see the light bulb turn on. I teach AP US government where you have 16-year-olds. They're already ready to roll. They just want to learn more. They want to be engaged. But I've also taught general ed government at Eden Prairie. Also, we have it to where juniors and seniors have to take it. And I've just seen the benefit of students coming in the door, not having a clue and leaving, ready to go do something and be productive in our society. And I think that that is very, very imperative for us to do as a state, especially as Senator Cwodzinski said, where we are in our democracy and politics now. What I'm gonna finish with, and keeping under that 2-minute window, I talked to my students today in class and I asked them, I think in education, we do a disservice in making the decisions without their input. So I asked them, I said, what are some of the reasons why you think it's beneficial for juniors and seniors to do this? These are their words, not mine. I am the first to complain about schoolwork that is unnecessary and irrelevant to my future, but this is not one of those instances. Education is the most valuable asset to a functioning democracy. What is more fundamental to being a functioning member of society than efficacy? Refusing to teach students about the intricacies of American government and insufficiently communicating the gravity of political efficacy does a disservice to the ideals of America as a democratic country. Upperclassmen, government is about engaging in current events, paying attention to how the system works, learning tolerance, and communicating beyond moral differences. What could be more important to modern education? Many students have voice because they can't vote or because they still are effectively kids. They have no interest in engaging in politics. And while this trend seems to be decreasing with the advent of social media and the popularity of youth activism, it is still an issue that can be best addressed in classes like American government. And lastly, to add on, by taking government senior, junior year, students have a better understanding of how the world and politics around them work. The information taught in government not only teaches students about how government functions, but also teaches us how to question the why and dig deeper to further understand. And I will say, as a 9th grader and 10th grader, they're not there with their world experiences yet, especially compared them to when they're juniors and seniors. So I truly believe that it would be a benefit to the society as a whole, to the kids, and to every demographic of the state of Minnesota to enact this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sibley. I do have to ask, did you and Senator Cwodzinski, have you worked together?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I came in on the back end. I'm his younger black self.
All right. There's 2 of him?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sibley. So next up is Mr. Narcotti. You're a student at Eden Prairie, is that correct?
Yeah, I was. I graduated. I'm at the U now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you looked a little bit older. Did I get the last name correct, sir?
Yeah, you did. I'm Swad's black son.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm here to talk about my experience as a former student who had a government education class. And in my experience, it's incredibly important. And it was important for the trajectory of me and my classmates' futures. When I came into high school, I didn't know much of anything about the voting process. I didn't know about the state senate. I didn't know you people existed. I especially didn't know about the aforementioned civic virtue or what it means to be an American. I'm an asylee from the Somali Civil War. I live in Section 8 housing. My own parents have benefited from financial government programs their whole life. The point being, I did not know of the bodies and institutions that made my life here in America possible. My government class had awoken something inside of me. To be able to learn and develop alongside my peers was a privilege enough, but it's what I got to do with it. After learning the necessary fundamentals in my government class, we worked for thousands of hours without pay to advocate for others. And for that, I got my city's Human Rights Award, of which I will accredit to that government education class. My peers and I from my government education class and I created an organization to help disadvantaged families and individuals do things they normally couldn't, whether it was give them a ride to work or whether it was making sure they had food that night. We did it with our own resources and fundraise capital. That drive instilled inside of us, which charges our identity as Americans, came from that civics education. I'm a senior in college now. I'm studying political science. I'm still on this course, and the internships I've had, the people we got to help, the future I'm going to have would all have been impossible without that education. To imagine another kid like me with that same potential to explore the avenues I had the privilege to, not being able to, not obtaining that information, breaks my heart. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Nurkati. Appreciate the testimony. Political science, the major, huh? Okay. All right.
Let's not get sensitive. Come on.
Members, any questions, comments before we move on? Senator Newman and then Senator Duckworth. Senator Newman, you're up.
I'm coming.
All right.
There we go. I just wanted to mention Senator Cwodzinski. I agree with everything that you said in your rousing speech. You are absolutely correct. The only regret I have here is I wasn't a co-author on your bill. It's a wonderful bill. Thank you.
Senator Duckworth and then Senator Kunish.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. Great bill, great testimony. Senator Cwodzinski and Senator Uyghur, thanks for bringing it forward. Mr. Chair, thanks for hearing it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's timely, and I appreciate the work you've done to get us this far to bring it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Duckworth. Senator Kunish.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Senator, for bringing this forward. We have discussed it quite a bit for quite a long time, both in the House and here in the Senate. And I think it's time that we pass this. It really is important to give our students the background of our democracy and the process of how laws are influenced, how they're passed, and how they someday will need to take that responsibility for their generation as well as the next generations. I think it's really vital that we go back and get some of these fundamentals back in front of the students. And so thank you again for bringing this forward, and I sure give you my support.
Excellent. Okay, that's all we have for comments. So any final comments, Senator Cwodzinski?
No, thank you for those kind words by my colleagues. I really appreciate it. I think it's the right thing to do. I've taught 9th grade, I've taught 11th grade, I taught 10th or 12th grade, and this should be a required class for upper class people. They'll be, everybody benefits. It's a win-win for the state and the country. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members.
Thank you, Senator Cwodzinski. With that, Senate File 240 as amended be held over for possible conclusion. Thank you very much, testifiers and Senator Cwodzinski. So far, so good. All right, next up is Senate File 789, Senator Rosen.
I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have two bills before you, 789 and Senate File 1443. We are doing 789. Very simple bill, Mr. Chair. And basically what it does is, well, shared time aid reimburses public schools for courses that a non-public school student takes during the regular school day. And Senate File 789 would just expand the shared time aid to include non-public school students who attend public school career and technical education, CTE, programs offered for secondary credit outside of the regular school days. I have another bill that's been introduced, Senate File 688, that includes STEM on this, but it's really important to keep this bill, I believe, moving in the respect that we finally just got a fiscal note about 30 seconds ago, and it's very reasonable. And it's really important that this program that has been working so well in Fairmont, I have my superintendent, Joe Brown, with me. He's been doing this for 5 years. And I would much rather have him talk about the success of this program, why they developed it, and his outlook going forward, the referendum that was passed in the community. But the one thing I want to leave in you, because he's going to mention it, and we should keep this in our head over and over again, that we need 239,000 skilled workers in the next 24 months. So with that, Mr. Chair, like I said, it's there's some really innovative programs being developed out there, especially to address this need for skilled workers. And if I could, I'd like to turn it over to Superintendent Brown.
Thank you, Senator Rosen. So it is Mr. Brown. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Joseph E. Brown Sr., and I currently serve as the Fairmont Area School Superintendent. I'm in my 11th year. Formerly, I served 8 years in the Iowa State Senate back when I was a kid, and my wife, Robin, served 2 terms in the Minnesota House, 2007 and 2010, representing Albert Lee. Hey, before I get going on Senator Rosen's bill, I'm going to speak just 15 seconds about Senate File 240. As a former government teacher, I point out that in Fairmont, we do require every 9th grade student to take civics. We require every 12th grade student to take a semester of American government, and we require each senior to take a semester of economics. Next year, I'm going to be teaching the Advanced Placement College in the Schools American Government class, and first semester, and the second semester, I'll be teaching the College in the Schools State and Local Government class. This is Senate File 240 is a very important bill. For the sake of the economic situation of Minnesota, Senate File 789 is also very, very important. Well, just as Minnesota is experiencing a severe teacher shortage, it is expected that there will be a more serious shortage of skilled workers in the next 2 years in carpenters, welders, electricians, and plumbers. Can you imagine what the fiscal impact is going to be in just 2 years when 239,000 skilled workers retire? I'll be 70 years old in the next few weeks, and if I was a bricklayer or an electrician or a carpenter, I would have already been retired. And the baby boom generation is retiring very quickly. Well, what is the problem? Why are students not taking vocational classes? Well, the answer is that many high schools have simply eliminated vocational programs with an increased emphasis on preparing students to attend a 4-year college. Schools have found it increasingly difficult to recruit and retain certified vocational teachers, and schools have cut vocational programs due to lack of funding for up-to-date equipment and facilities and the shortage of certified vocational teachers. We have observed that many students do not have time during their regularly scheduled school day to take a vocational class. Due to state and federal academic requirements that result in high school full schedules, many of our students do not have time during their regular day to take a vocational class. Many of our top academic students are taking all of their required classes, plus they might be in band or choir or orchestra, taking a PSEO or a College in the Schools class, and they simply have no time during the regularly scheduled school day to take a vocational class. Then we have some students that are highly interested in vocational classes, but because they may have failed a core class, they now have to double dip. They may have to take 2 English classes or 2 math classes the following year. And I'll point out with COVID, we have a couple hundred students that have failed multiple core classes at our high school. Next year, we are going to an 8-period day to provide students more opportunity to take classes so they can catch up, so they can graduate on time. Well, Fairmont Area Schools has implemented a summer welding academy class and Saturday welding classes, in addition to our summer agricultural classes. So we've had the welding classes going on for 5 years. We have 20 welding units, and our students take a 15-week, 4 hours a day for a total of 60 hours of welding, and then they can go directly into the workforce in our South Central or North Central Iowa manufacturing areas that need welders. But currently, we right now have 12 students taking a Saturday welding class. 7 are adults and 5 are students. Well, Senate File 789 should have broad bipartisan support. The concept is being supported by business and by labor. This will have a positive impact on all parts of our great state of Minnesota, rural and urban. Eventually, most people are going to need a skilled worker to build or remodel their home, whether one resides on the Iron Range or in Metro or Greater Minnesota. This legislation will encourage local districts to recruit and retain vocational teachers so that they may be year-round employees. Minnesota is blessed with a variety of manufacturing plants that are crying out for skilled workers, welders, machinists, carpenters, plumbers, and electricians. And I do not believe that this bill will cost a lot of money for three basic reasons. Number one, there are very few high schools in Minnesota that currently have comprehensive vocational programs. Second of all, there are very few teachers that are willing to teach outside of the regularly scheduled school day at nighttime or on Saturdays or in the summer. And third, there is a limited number of students that are willing to take classes outside of the regularly scheduled school day. Well, Fairmont Area Schools is fortunate that we have all three. We have a comprehensive vocational program. We have vocational teachers that are willing to teach outside of the regular school day. And we have a great group of students that are willing to take these classes. In my opinion, schools should also strongly consider hiring vocational teachers on a 12-month contract. Many times the vocational teachers are being snarfed up by the private sector because they can work full-time 12 months. And I always say that very carefully. My wife's a teacher, I'm a teacher, we're full-time people. However, some people want to make more money and they go into the private sector. You know, the legislature in the past few years have passed two really important pieces of legislation. The world's best workforce that requires all students be both career and college ready. And the tiered teacher licensing system that does allow a person with 5 years of skilled workforce training to be able to teach a high school vocational class. Well, over the past 10 years, Fairmont Area Schools has developed the following vocational academies: a welding academy, an agriculture academy with a greenhouse and 40 apple trees, an automotive academy, a culinary arts academy.
Superintendent, we're going to have to ask you to wrap this up. We got to keep moving, all right?
Very good. Last year, we had the Minnesota Supreme Court, and we had Neil Kashkari and Justice Page that came down and had lunch with our culinary arts. We just passed a $6.73 million bond with 67% vote to expand our vocational program. And we'll be implementing the Johnson Controls HVAC Center. We'll be having an expanded wood shop, and we have a construction facility that will be building houses year-round for Habitat for Humanity. I'd be glad to yield any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Thank you, Superintendent. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Fairly straightforward, simple concept here, members. You have a quick comment, Senator Cwodzinski?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to remind Senator Rosen why I co-authored this bill, and it's because whatever we can do to remove the stigma of choosing that and I'm just as guilty maybe as any high school teacher, but you know, we've got to allow kids all the options available to them with respect to their careers. And Hennepin Tech and Dunwoody's of the world have kind of taken a hit. And if you go visit your local technical school, you'll find out that there's a lot of people, not 20, 18, 17 there. You'll see a lot of people in their early 30s that went to work. They were told repeatedly, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? And when they graduate high school, they went to college and accumulated a bunch of debt. Now they find themselves at a technical school following their real passion, which whatever that my case may be. So I just wanted to add why I'm co-authoring the bill. I full on support Senator Rosen. And I just got a quick question for Superintendent Brown. So the superintendent in Fairmont is still in the classroom teaching?
I will be next year.
That's
I used
awesome.
when I was at Austin High School as a principal, I did teach the college classes at Riverland Community College on Wednesday night. But I agree with you, Senator, that this is the time that our students really need more work in the area of education, of government, especially nowadays. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. So I'll have 1 or 2 sections of American government in the fall semester and 1 section of state and local government, which I hope next year at this time we'll be taking my class up to see you folks in person.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Senator Cwodzinski. Senator Rosen, wrap it up.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I was going to tell tell you all that I really appreciate Senator Cwodzinski and Senator Chamberlain, Mr. Chair, you being on the bill. And I was going to ask you, Senator Cwodzinski, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to testify today. So I would have asked you to testify for this bill, but I was able to make it. And not that I'm partial, but I am. Fairmont and Superintendent Joe Brown has taken this wonderful idea and expanded it in this area that is so greatly needed. It started out with welding. All three of my kids graduated from Fairmont Public Schools, and it is a wonderful institution, and they're holding their own. They have a very supportive school board, which is important. But the big thing about this is the public and private partnership that they have. They've created and maintained these relationships with the ACO, the Waitronics, the Mayos, I said ACO. Help me out here, Superintendent Brown. There's a
Waitronic or Zerke Built Manufacturing.
Yes, the welding, absolutely. So they've got this public-private partnership, and they go night, they go Saturday, they go summers, and they are filling a need, a very important need, and it's not just for 18-year-olds. It's for the person that has a new career, the person that wants to take a different path, that needs to fill a specific need for that area, but wants to stay in that area. So I think this is really important. Mr. Chair, we do have the fiscal note, and like I said, it just came in.
Yeah, it's about 350 a year, give or take, which is seems to me to be a good buy, a good value to me. Anyway,
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair.
so yeah.
So with that, I appreciate your support and your time, and I hope that we can move something here that would be really meaningful. We've worked on this bill for many, many years.
Wonderful. Thank you, Senator Rosen. Thank you, testifier. Thank you, Superintendent. With that, Senate File 789 held over possible inclusion. Thank you, Senator Rosen. Now you have 1443 up. And you have an amendment for that one, a technical, it looks like. Correct?
I do, Mr. Chair, I do. And it is a technical amendment, and it is the A1 amendment. And basically what this would do is on lines 2.12, the bill already says the CRF and the CARES Act. This would include the American Rescue Plan Act, the one that was just voted on last week.
Thank you, Senator Rosen. So members, we have the A1 authors amendment. Cameras up. Pretty faces. There you go. So members, except for Senator Eichhorn. so with that, authors amendment A1, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
Nay.
You have your amended bill, Senator Rosen. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm sure we'll have a very good discussion about this. It directs that unspecified amount of federal education COVID funds would be able to be used to support school districts that have provided in-person instruction during the 2020-2021 school year as of December 31st of 2020. And these funds would be distributed by the Commissioner of Ed evenly to eligible schools based on average daily membership. And then Section 2 of the bill provides an unspecified amount of state aid for grants to school districts that have conducted in-person learning throughout the 2020-21 school year. And to be eligible, the schools must document that the federal aid received was not adequate to cover COVID-related costs. The grants would be distributed by the commissioner evenly to these eligible schools, and that would also be based on their average daily membership. It's mainly what we're trying to do here is address where federal money, because of the distribution formula chosen by Congress, has overwhelmingly favored select school districts, even when they are closed to in-person learning, while somewhat neglecting other schools that have been open to students. So this is, I think it's worthy of a conversation. We're definitely seeing the haves and have-nots in this federal money. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Senator Rosen. So there's a couple parts to this. The second part, Section 2, about state aid for schools that conducted in-person learning for this current school year, 2021. And you had to document that. So that's state dollars, correct, as opposed to the federal dollars, just confirming that, correct?
That would be state dollars, but the hope is that the federal dollars could supplant those state dollars.
Okay. I'll go to other members. Senator Isaacson up first, and then Senator Kunish.
So, thank you. Senator Rosen, are you indicating, is the rationale behind this that the folks that had in-person and distance learning spent more money than the folks that were hybrid, and they didn't get their share of the other relief money? Or I'm trying to understand why you're choosing what you're choosing, I guess. Maybe that's the best way to answer.
Senator Rosen?
Well, there are added expenses, and you would know this better, Senator Isaacson, you've been on this committee for a very long time, but there are definitely more expenses for the schools that went hybrid. They still had to do the bus drivers, they still had, all the help in the schools, but they still, and plus still they had to keep their students and their teachers safe. So those expenses, I want to make sure that they're covered and that perhaps we can cover them with federal funds. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that there should be preference to the in-person at all, but I do believe when you start looking at their expenses, they're probably higher than the schools that were completely hybrid, just physically higher.
Mr. Chair?
Senator Isaacson.
I think you could be hitting on an interesting point here. What I'm concerned about is that two things, and I'm not in any way insinuating you're doing this, but the optics of this tend to go a different direction in terms of how someone from my persuasion might see what's going on. And while I think that if there was tangible proof of that, where we could show A, there was more expenses, and B, for whatever reason, however the bill was written, but as you said, by the federal government, that demonstrates there's a hole that's been created, then I would say, yeah, that makes sense. I haven't, and I'm not saying what you're saying isn't true. I just haven't seen any evidence or heard anything about that before, and I feel like I would have, but that doesn't mean I know everything, because you could know something I don't. But I feel like until we can demonstrate that hole exists, that there is clearly because I know I'll go through right bills with the best of intentions, and we miss something, and now we crave an unintended consequence. Everybody sees it. I'm sure it happens at the federal level too. But I feel as though before we start handing out money and saying some schools can't get and other schools can, we better be really clear about why that's happening. And I don't know that I see what you're saying, but I don't see that as a reality yet. So I'd really like to see some numbers that explain that or walk me through that, either on the more expensive side to hold in person, which I think logically could make sense on what you're saying. That isn't unreasonable. I get that. Or on the federal side of where they weren't getting money. That'd be my concern and how we'd look at that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Rosen?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Isaacson. I'm glad you spelled that out. I certainly don't want it to appear to be a partisan issue or divided that way. It does say on 2.9, though, on the bill, a school district must document that their coronavirus-related costs exceed the amount of federal revenue it received through the CRF and the CARES Act, and now the relief plan, the American Relief Plan. So there must be documentation in a form and manner determined by the commissioner.
So, Mr. Chair,
I think we could get to that it is legit. I'm just looking for ways to help these school districts that maybe have added expenses because of COVID, and that we can use the federal funds. I mean, this is all about supplanting and supplementing and using these funds correctly.
I think
Senator Isaacson.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I think what would be interesting to know is if we took 10 schools that did in person and 10 schools that didn't, right? And then we ask them, did your budget go over? I would want to know if the schools that didn't do in-person learning, if their budget went over too because of COVID costs. And if that's the case, then maybe we have to think about how the bill's written or provide more broader use of federal funds that way. So in general, I like the idea of putting money into the schools. I'm a little nervous about it picking winners and losers. So I want to have a better kind of understand of the technical part of that. But I get what you're trying to accomplish. I want to see a little bit more of how that works. And I'm not the decider. So I just am part of the process here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Senator Isaacson. Senator Kunish, and then Senator Kunish.
Mr. Chair, if I could reply to that.
Go ahead, Senator Rosen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Isaacson, I am certainly open to any thoughts of improving this bill.
Thank you.
Like I said, this is not my wheelhouse, but I feel strongly that we need to at least start looking in this direction and making sure that we don't create the haves and have-nots. Oops, sorry.
Thank you. As opposed to making it worse, Senator Rosen. So, Senator Kunesh, you're up. Then Senator Uyghur.
Thank you, Chair and Senator. I'm really confused by this bill, and I guess I'm wondering, really where did it come from, or where was the nucleus, or what was the idea that started this bill? Last fall I was a teacher. I was a full-fledged teacher, library media specialist. I was in school every day, all day long, working with families and students to get their Chromebooks and access technology and understand Schoology and Infinite Campus and that sort of thing. And while I was there, I saw what my school was doing to create a safe environment. They had the plexiglass screens up. They had these clear curtains. They, worked on their HVAC and their water fountains and their water systems and creating a flow through the school. And, they used those funds the way that they were supposed to do. The school that I taught in, the district that I taught in is Robbinsdale, and that's one of your schools that are listed on those that would not be eligible to receive those funds. Now, the schools the students that they work with are a broad, diverse group of students, and many of them come from maybe lower income, they're families of color and immigrant, and would definitely be the kind of clientele that we would want to have in summer school. So in essence, this bill would in fact be punitive for them. And once again, not providing the access and the resources to the additional help to get them up and running for the fall when hopefully we're all back in person. And so I guess I'm just trying to understand really what is this all about, because it feels very punitive to these school districts that maybe because of their unique population or their community, they chose to be extra safe and not do full in-person coursework, only to have to stop and reevaluate as the pandemic escalated or de-escalated.
Thank you, Senator Kunesh. Senator Rosen, quick response to that?
Oh, well, I guess I'm a little confused, Senator Kunesh, as the punitive aspect that I think that the school districts that, I know there's been a push for, let's open the schools up. And so I think that's what everybody's thinking, is that there's going to be an award for the schools that were in person versus the ones that went hybrid or at home. I think there are added expenses for these school districts that did decide to open up and tried to do a hybrid too, because you had, mixed numbers there. I don't think it is punitive. I think it's you're providing, a school district must use funding received for costs associated with reopening and providing in-person learning. That's on subdivision 3 of section 1. So, that's the purpose, is to make sure that we're able to fill in the gaps of these schools that may not have, may not be eligible for these federal funds. And Mr. Chair, you could probably help me out with the Title I better. I know that many of my schools did receive some money because of Title I, but perhaps you could help me out with that, if that's what we're talking about.
Thank you, Senator Rosen. So Senator Uyghur, question, then we'll move on.
May I just do, I'm not quite done yet. Could I just make one more?
Okay, Senator Kunish, go ahead.
Sure. So I'm sorry I didn't get this letter out to you in time. I received it yesterday from the superintendent of Columbia Heights, which is one of the school districts that I represent. And the superintendent was very dismayed to learn about this bill. So hopefully you've received it in your Outlook, in your email. I guess it didn't get onto the online meeting or to you. But what the superintendent said, that it's ironic that today that you're hearing this bill because it's a special day in Columbia Heights Public Schools. It's the day that they're welcoming back even more students in grades 3 through 12 right back on campus. After last spring's shift to distance learning, their school district team reached out to families and students and staff to understand their experiences. And so this was very much community led. And based on that data, their teaching and learning team actually created an enhanced and very robust instructional model that they called Heights from Home. And it wasn't the typical distance learning model or hybrid. Students received direct instruction and individualized support from their teachers 5 days a week. So they didn't rely on parents as teachers or rely on packets a couple of days a week to keep them busy. And based on that data, they found it, and in support with the regional support teams, they found that that modified hybrid really, really worked for them. So as she stated in the letter, regardless of being in distant learning, hybrid or full in person, Senate File 1143 presented by those who represent Greater Minnesota that specifically calls for Columbia Heights schools not to receive federal funding for COVID relief, disregards local control and decision making. And it's certainly a value that we value within our own community. The initiation of the Senate file is received by the school district as a blatant disrespect for members of their community and their hardworking teachers and staff. Each school district is afforded the authority to determine the learning model that works best for their individual context. And Columbia Heights Public Schools has a strong community support for the local model. In fact, despite experiencing current lowered local case rates, over 50% of their students continue to choose Heights from Home for Q4. And throughout the whole school year, they've recorded very high attendance and have been able to meet the needs of their students. And so, you know, it's important to know that within this district, we have a large majority of poverty and other social barriers. And they feel that their students do not deserve less than others simply because of their zip code or their color of their skin. Their teachers and their staff do not deserve this attack on tremendous care and education they're providing to the beloved students and their families. And during the pandemic, they've learned creative and innovative methods for reaching children with different learning styles and need fulfilling of the mission to create worlds of opportunities for each and every learner, because all belonging is all success. And so this is certainly not a bill that I can support, and I know that my districts will not support it either.
Thank you, Senator Kunish. Senator Uyghur, did you have a comment? Your hand went down.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with the points that Senator Kunish just made, and but I appreciate that Senator Rosen wants to improve the bill, and perhaps getting a group that could further talk about the recovery in general that districts are looking at. And Governor Walz and the Department of Ed did put together a number of recommendations. I believe $57.5 million is sitting at the Legislative Advisory Committee with a plan to help in recovery. In this, I believe in the fiscal note, the Minnesota State Academies would not be eligible for funds. Various districts, I won't go through them. This is a local control issue as to the decision in the recovery. and let them best decide. If we had the time to go through testimony, we would learn about the particular cases. One item that actually I shared with Senator Utke back in special sessions was the impact on declining enrollment. And I believe one of his districts had lost 25% of the students, but their expenses during this pandemic have continued. And I believe in your bill it would be based on the enrollment right now, but districts would come forward in testimony to show the concern. And Senator Utke, I think in some of his districts told me about the dramatic impact, and I think Monaga, there's a number of ones. So let's agree that districts, they need help in recovery. There's federal money and there needs improvement, and let's work on that together.
Thank you, Senator Uyghur. We're going to wrap up. So I just have a comment. We're working on the runs for the district allocations of the federal money, the first two phases of the federal money. Of course, we're waiting for the third one to come through. About $2 billion to come through so far, and we know that some districts, some of the runs we have, received over $3,000 per pupil, while others received, maybe less than $100 or less than $150 per pupil. So I don't want to speak for Senator Rosen, but it's certainly something I have seen and I have heard of. Districts have contacted me about that disparity as well. In their mind, a child is a child is a child. Now, some children have more needs in different areas, but there are quite some large disparities in some areas of the distribution. So we're going to have those runs. It'll be more clear how it all added up for all three of these aid packages. Secondly, I believe that I was advised and reminded that this approach does not impact the federal money necessarily going in, but that 10% or so, 9.5% that the MDE had control over. So just a couple of thoughts at the end is all. Senator Isaacson, you have a quick comment? We've got to move on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I would love to understand that part better about where money went and how it was focused, and if there were winners and losers that were made unintentionally, and making that whole. At the same time, if Senator Rosen wants, I'd be happy to work with her about finding a way to make, in my opinion, broader. If that doesn't fit with their narrative, I don't need to bother about it, but I'd be happy to talk about how we make this broader to include all the districts that are trying to get the work done and still having a meaningful impact with the money. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Senator Isaacson. Senator Rosen, you want to make a final comment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I am more than happy to work with Senator Isaacson on this, because I do think it's a valid issues that we're all bringing up. Just one of my school districts on the border lost 40 kids over into Iowa. Now, Fairmont didn't. They're 18 miles from the border because they have every class available except that Mankato can have, but they just don't have a swimming pool. So we didn't see that leaving over the border. But I do believe that there has been an impact on enrollment, and we need to take a serious look at that and make it so there aren't winners and losers. And Senator Kunish, I must apologize. I did not get the letter. I keep asking my LA if I received the letter. I certainly don't want you or your superintendent from Columbia Heights to think that this was a blatant attack on them on the day that you have the Heights from home. This, absolutely not. And I heard those words, attack and the blatant disrespect. And it saddens me that we can't have these conversations in committee without everybody feeling like they're being attacked. And there is not a measure of attack on this. This is a measure of how are we going to keep our schools afloat? Let's address some of these issues. The compensatory aid, it just goes on and on. So, I want to be a part of the conversation. Like I said, this is not my wheelhouse, but I certainly think that this conversation about federal aids and what we spend out of the general fund We should have all this conversation together. It can't be in silos anymore. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for this hearing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator Rosen. Thank you, members. With that, Senate File 1443 as amended be held over possible inclusion. Thank you very much. Next up, Senator Coleman with Senate File 1537. 1537. Senator Coleman, I think you have an amendment. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I have the A1 amendment, which moves the reporting requirements out to the 2023-2024 school year in order to help schools better prepare.
Okay. Looks like a technical author's amendment. Members, thank you, Senator Coleman. Cameras and unmute. All in favor of the A1 author's amendment for 1537. 1537. Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Nay? All right. Senator Coleman, your bill is in order.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members, I apologize if I seem out of breath. I currently have 2 children fighting to see who can kick my lungs the hardest at the moment, so I'm going to try my best here. Senate File 1537 is a student-centered bipartisan bill that will help to fill a void in understanding how well our students are being prepared for college and career, and if the opportunities to earn college credit in high school through rigorous courses are being accessed equitably by all students across our schools. On a personal note, as a student, I was able to earn college credit during high school by taking several AP courses, which actually enabled me to get a minor in addition to my major and saved me money in the long run. And I want to ensure our schools are emphasizing these opportunities to historically underserved students. My bill aims to give us information on where we should be celebrating and replicating successes, as well as areas for improvement in 2 key goal areas embodied in the world's best workforce: high school graduation and career and college readiness. First, the bill adds a measurement of 9th grade students and if they're on track to graduate to the annual reports. Measuring 9th grade academic success is important as it comes at a critical time in a student's education, years before a high school student takes MCA tests or even the ACT. There is a growing body of research which has shown that 9th grade students who are on track are nearly 4 times more likely to graduate from high school and go on to post-secondary. Reporting this information can serve as an early warning system to parents and educators so they can ensure supports are in place for students who need to get back on track and reach the important milestone of high school graduation. SF 1537 also adds a data point to the world's best workforce reports on students taking rigorous courses, as I mentioned before. Students who take rigorous courses in high school are more likely to enroll in post-secondary education and more likely to complete their post-secondary degree. We also know that districts currently gather this information. So by reporting student participation in rigorous coursework for all student groups, we will have an important data point comparable across all schools pertaining to career and college readiness that will tell us if students are gaining equal access to these opportunities. But I believe there's another more positive way to think about reporting this information and why it is important for our students, and that is when we know better, we do better. While test scores measure an outcome, adding this information would help to provide more actionable data about the opportunities and experiences that Minnesota's students, particularly BIPOC students, low-income students, English learners, and students with disabilities have, and whether they are getting access to an experience that is preparing them for success after high school. Schools already have this data, as indicated by the letter provided to the committee by associations representing the school boards and school administrators from across our state. Adding that data to a report schools are already required to publish annually provides much needed transparency for parents around the tens of millions of dollars taxpayers spend annually to help our students obtain college credit, gain college and career readiness skills, and which students are benefiting. So with that, thank you, Chair Chamberlain. I believe I have 3 other testifiers in support to offer remarks today, and I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. So first up, I have several testifiers listed here. First up is Ms. Gabbard. Are you here? Dolores Gabbard.
Yes, Chair Chamberlain, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Please state your name for the record, and you may proceed, and who you're with, and you may proceed with your testimony.
My name is Dolores Gabbard, and I work for Moorhead Area Public Schools as a Native American homeschool liaison. I also have children that attend school in Moorhead.
Ms. Gabbard, we're having a hard time hearing. I don't want you to,
Okay, I'll
give another
give me
shot.
one.
Thank you.
I apologize.
No apologies necessary.
My other computer had an issue and I got a replacement, and I have not utilized the sound and audio of this one today. Chair Chamberlain, is that better?
Yeah, just maybe, I guess you'll have to talk a little bit louder. But go ahead, Ms. Gabbard. Thank you.
Okay. So as a parent and a district employee who provides services for the underserved students in my district, I often hear about a push to provide equitable access to the tools that students need to be successful in their educational endeavors. Unfortunately, there is not a good system in place for measuring this initiative. I believe that requiring school districts to include in their World's Best Workforce reporting a breakdown of student subgroups would be beneficial in identifying barriers that underserved students may be experiencing in obtaining these tools. What I hope is that it would prevent students from falling through the cracks. I'm going to provide an example of how this amendment would be beneficial to underserved students. My own daughter is the example of a student who I believe fell through the cracks. In elementary school and middle school, she was identified as a student who was eligible for advanced classes and gifted and talented programming. In her freshman year, she was enrolled in advanced classes and consequently ended up failing those classes. What we didn't know was that she had attention deficit disorder that was not diagnosed until she was a senior in high school. Had there been a way to trigger this, I believe her academic performance and experience would have been very different. As it stands, there is not a required breakdown of student subgroups for districts to use in identifying if their practices are equitable. To the best of my knowledge, we are not asking districts to reinvent the wheel because subgroup information already exists in district data. I would hope that requiring this breakdown of subgroups not be used as a tool to point fingers and flag districts that are falling short. Instead, I would hope that it would be used as a tool to see where districts can be doing better. In my daughter's case, I believe that if these subgroups were tracked, that she would have had more success in her 9th grade year and would not have had to attend summer school in order to graduate. This data will be crucial information for districts as well as the state to create initiatives to ensure equitable access to AP, PSEO, and other rigorous classes for underserved students to increase college and career readiness. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Gabbard. Thank you very much. Next up, Mr. Lewis. I see you there. Welcome to the committee, Hi, and welcome to the committee, Mr. Lewis. Please state your name and who you're with, and you may proceed. Thank you.
I'm Kyrie Lewis, a second year at Augsburg, pursuing a career in elementary education. While doing this, I've been able to reflect a lot on my experience throughout grade school. I believe that my AP, IB, and honors experience in high school play a large part in my academic success up to this point. I was not your typical AP, IB student. I was a 3 triathlete and got my IB certificate. Initially, when I decided to take these upper level classes, it was because I wanted to challenge myself. On paper, I was not the student to take these classes. I had failed 5 classes my freshman year because of home life and other situations that I had going on. Then I moved up here with my uncle to Minnesota and had a complete 180 simply by change of environment. And I got all A's and B's for the first time since elementary school And I thought to myself, I want to challenge myself. I can do this. So I decided to go that route and take AP and IB classes. Initially, I got a little bit of pushback from some adults in my life because they didn't want to see me sink because I had already progressed after being behind. But ultimately, I think it is one of the best decisions that I had made in high school, because I think that, well, in high school, when they sell these classes, they say you can get college credit, and that's like the main thing they use to sell these classes. But I think that it was so much more than that, because now being a college student, I realized that I have great study skills. They prepared me for college rigor, and even the conversations that I have with people in general, let alone a business setting. So I did notice, though, in these classes, a lot of the times I was one of the only students of color. And these are in classes of 30 plus kids. I went to a large high school, 3,000 kids. I went to Champlain Park in Anoka Hennepin. But I think that having this data would be extremely helpful, just because if we can use this data to help get more students of color in these classes and help encourage more students to take these classes, that it would be really beneficial for them, because getting to college is one thing, getting to college and being successful is a completely different thing. So I think that this data would help not only teachers, parents, not just teachers and parents, but like coaches as well, to encourage their students to take these classes. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Appreciate it. Next up, Ms. Loon. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record, and you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry, let me pull up the right statement. Thank you, Senator Chamberlain and senators on the Education Committee. My name is Jennifer Loon, and I'm the Senior Policy Fellow at Ed Allies. We're a statewide education advocacy nonprofit. We partner with educators, families, and communities to ensure that every Minnesota student has access to a rigorous and engaging education. It's my pleasure to testify in strong support of Senate File 1537 and to thank Senator Coleman for bringing it forward. In November of 2020, Ed Allies published a research report on rigorous course taking in Minnesota, and it revealed gaps in enrollment in classes like AP, IB, PSEO, and concurrent enrollment. We found that disparities existed for students of color, low-income students, and other underserved populations. And these gaps start early with access to gifted and talented, and they grow as students reach high school, where there's more rigorous coursework opportunities. One of the recommendations in our report for addressing these disparities is to expand the measurement of career and college readiness that schools are required to develop as part of their World's Best Workforce plans. Let me offer some context to you around why this measure and why this report. In 2013, when the legislature passed the World's Best Workforce law, setting forth a framework for improving student success in Minnesota, one of the major goals is ensuring that all students are prepared for success in college career. However, unlike other goals in the framework, such as third grade reading or closing the gaps between student groups and academic achievement, which both report their progress using the MCA for measurement, there is no measure across all schools on career and college readiness. Reporting on rigorous course taking by student subgroup will point to actionable measures that students can take to reach this important goal and increase transparency, so we know which schools have developed best practices and which are still in need of some improvement. As also mentioned by Senator Coleman, Senate File 1537 would add a data point on measuring ninth grade students being on track for graduation. And all this means is that a student is developing the adequate credits per semester in their 4 core academic areas: language arts, math, science, or social studies. 15 other states already track and report this indicator, and it can be an important early warning system for parents and students long before our ninth graders will ever take their high school MCAs or even their ACT. There is ample research to indicate that ninth grade students on track with their academic success is the best indicator of high school graduation and entrance to post-secondary programs. Sadly, Minnesota has one of the lowest graduation rates in the country for Native American, Latino, and Black students. These new indicators, as suggested in Senate File 1537, will be of benefit to school districts and to parents as we look for data other than the MCAs that can point to student success for high school graduation and college and career readiness. With that, I appreciate, again, the opportunity to testify, and we thank Senator Coleman for sponsoring this bill. I'd be happy to respond to any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Loon. Last testifier for this, last testifier, Ms. Henton. You're up. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record. You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Chamberlain and members of the committee. My name is Deb Henton, and I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Association of School Administrators. I appreciate the opportunity to testify regarding additional World's Best Workforce reporting requirements as identified in Senate File 1357. This testimony is also supported by MREA and MSBA. When the World's Best Workforce legislation was passed in 2013, it was understood that the report was designed to ensure progress was being made by each school district to raise the achievement of every child. It was to be a one-page report in which school districts reported on 5 different goals established by the legislature. Since 2013, the World's Best Workforce requirements have resulted in the document being far more than a one-page report. I've asked school leaders recently in regional meetings about how comprehensive their reports have become, and one superintendent reported his now exceeds 50 pages given all that must be now included. As one of my colleagues often notes, the World's Best Workforce report is like a Christmas tree, where more and more ornaments, in this case reporting requirements, get hung on the tree. Those of us who have been around a while remember the report being touted as a one-pager that would eliminate the need for many other reports. And that simply has not happened. And if bills like SF 1357 pass, more reporting requirements will be legislated, and much of what is being asked for is already available through the Department of Education. The practical implementation of the report is also problematic. School leaders begin each year working on the annual plan that is due to the Department of Education in December. Sometime in the spring, the department provides feedback on the plan. Thus, almost an entire school year can pass before a district is told what to approve upon. Schools report their World's Best Workforce report is not a strategic plan guide for the district. I have heard a clear mandate from school leaders to advocate for no more additional requirements to the World's Best Workforce plan itself. The information requested in SF 1537 is already available elsewhere. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and thank you again for this opportunity, and most important, for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Ms. Henton. I do have a question, Ms. Henton, or a comment for you. You know, I remember when this was being passed and listening to educators in the past many years and being stunned at the amount of paperwork that this initial legislation had generated. And believe me, if we could find a way to slim it down and still get to the same point, it'd be wonderful to do. So I'm empathetic and sympathetic to your cause, and maybe there's some compromise we can use here. Don't want to speak too much out of turn, but certainly, you know, paragraph E starting on page 2, I think that isn't a bad idea necessarily for expanding, kind of giving a heads up at that point for parents and others as the child progresses. I know we have other measures in the MCAs and grad rates, but we might be able to find something here. But I am sympathetic, I'm sure we all are, to the reporting requirements, both the planning, the strategic plan, and then the backside of this as well. Thank you. So we'll go to some questions and we'll move on. Senator Isaacson was first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So when it says on track, I'm sorry, let me start over again. Senator Coleman, on lines 2.1 through like 2.4 of the bill, at least the copy I have here, says on track. And I'm just wondering, once that test is taken, and they get well, I guess not the test, I guess it's the classes are taken and they have at least 5 credits and have received no more than 1 failing grade. What happens if they receive 2 failing grades and they're not on track? What does that happen? What happens then?
Senator
That's my-
Coleman?
Thank you, Senator Isaacson, for the question. I'm happy to have Jennifer Loon address this a little bit more in detail.
Ms. Loon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Senator Isaacson for the question. So if a student has more than one failing grade in a core course, and again, that's English language arts, math, science, or social studies, they would deemed to not be on track for graduation. And so again, that would be reported as part of the what we are seeking for a reporting requirement for ninth grade students for all districts. And again, this would be an important indicator that there are some extra supports needed for those students who are not on track because as we know, once you get beyond ninth grade, if you are not on track, it's less likely those students will graduate. And certainly if they don't graduate, not go on to fulfill their their college and career goals. So that's when those students would be in that report as not on track.
Thank you, Ms. Loon. Senator Isaacson, follow-up? Are you good?
Yeah, just so I'm clear about that, it's just meant for tracking purposes. It's not punitive. It doesn't affect the district. It doesn't affect, in terms of like coming back and causing other repercussions other than just making sure that we have a student that knows we as a district know where the student is. And if there's something wrong, we catch it before it gets too late down the road. Is that correct?
Ms. Loon?
Mr. Chair and Senator Isaacson, yes, absolutely. There's no ill effects to a district or no punishments or anything, if you will. Again, it is just strictly to be sort of what I call it is an early warning system, but an indicator that we've got students who are going to need some help, and this is important for students for no one to fall through the cracks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to keep moving. We got a couple to go, and we're going to have to be out of here close to 4:30. So, Senator Uyghur, comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I support the bill. It's crucial at ninth grade to provide an indicator, especially to that student, to their parents, but let the system be aware as well. Reference has been made to World's Best Workforce. I was the Senate Chief Conferee and putting that together with Representative Marquardt. And when we put together what now will be close to maybe a more $19 billion budget for students, and that's very important. We asked for a few deliverables. The culmination being graduation, and then we have not defined what is college career ready. I think it would help to provide some specificity on that. Earlier on in the metrics, and this is about accountability, we talk about being ready for K. We're putting millions into high quality early ed, which we should, but we need to have a definition of ready for K as well. And I believe we'll probably have a bill looking at that again soon. And another key metric that we've talked about this session, which we all share, is reading proficiency in third grade. That is an expectation in World's Best Workforce, and it's a requirement. And if on Ms. Hinton's testimony about 50 pages, well, if there's items that we are expected to research individually, I'm sorry, I think we should be able to have a report. And I would hope that it's helpful for citizens, for school districts, in looking at the basic part of their mission, that students graduate on time, that they are college career ready, and the best success, the best indicator in that World's Best Workforce metric is ready for K and then third grade proficiency. It all flows along, and having something that identifies a high risk indicator in ninth grade is crucial. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Uyghur. With that, a quick programming note. We'll take Senator Koran next, and then Senator Coleman will bring you up after Koran. I want to get those two bills out of here before we end up tonight, and then we can take the two vehicle bills Wednesday quick. So, Senator Coleman, you want to wrap up?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll be very brief. I just wanted to say thank you for hearing this bill and for everyone who came to testify today. I did not hear from the school boards or administrators until this morning. I'm certainly not intending to leave anyone's voice out. So please reach out to continue conversations, and I hope that we can get this bill passed and moving forward. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Coleman. With that, Senate File 1537, held over, as amended, held over for possible inclusion. Thank you very much. You'll be back up in a few minutes. Senator Koran, let's do this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to present
You have an amendment.
1554. I do, Mr. Chair. First stop, would like the privilege of the author's amendment with the A1, if somebody could move that for me.
Sure. Senator Icorn will move Senate File A1 amendment for Senate File 1554. Author's amendment is not a delete all, it's just different things. So, members, an author's amendment A1 to 1554. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, you got it. You got your bill, Senator Koran. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll be brief. I'm pleased to bring this bill forward. What it does, it encourages school districts to create automatic enrollment policies, also referred to as acceleration policies, to get more students into rigorous coursework. Just a few quick talking points before we hear from the testifiers. The bill does not mandate, but it encourages school districts to create automatic enrollment policies and provides a framework around best practices for these particular policies. The automatic enrollment policies, schools are encouraged to create and identify math as a place to start, does not limit the schools to creating these policies for more advanced study in math. Unfortunately, students with great potential are being overlooked for opportunities to take classes that can help enhance their learning, career, and college readiness. By encouraging the automatic process to enroll students, there will be another pathway to help remove disparities for students, particularly those who may struggle in one area academically, but excel in another. And Mr. Chair, on a personal note, probably describe me very well. But with that, Mr. Chair, that's the high level. What I'd like to do is get to our testifiers. I know you're pressed for time, so I'd like to have the testifiers provide their feedback, both on the original bill and then on the amendment as well.
Of course. Thank you, Senator Koran. We have two testifiers. Well, Ms. Loon again. Welcome back to the committee. Please state your name, who you're with for the record, and Ms. Berg is up after that.
Computer told me I'm muted. Apologize. So I would like to say very briefly that I think probably the committee would like to hear most from Ms. Berg from North Carolina. That's a state that is one of 5 that have initiated these automatic enrollment policies. So in the previous bill that Senator Coleman offered, we talked about the disparities for rigorous courses for students. And one of the trends that states are embracing is creating these automatic enrollment policies. Well, so whether it's if you do well in one of your courses, maybe you got all A's in your math courses, a school would look to automatically enroll a student into a more rigorous math course the next semester or the next year. And so there's 5 states that have gone down this pathway with very good results. 1, North Carolina, focused on math. Other states in Washington State, Colorado, Nevada are the others, and then Illinois just passed an automatic enrollment bill here just this last month. Can talk about the results, and basically what they've seen is that they've had dramatic increases in typically underserved students getting into gifted and talented programs, advanced courses, and with really great results for those students. So with that, I will let Ms. Berg from North Carolina tell the rest of the story.
Thank you, Ms. Loon. Ms. Berg, welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record, and you may begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Chamberlain. Can you hear me okay? Okay, and can I share my screen? I want to make sure. Okay.
Yep.
I have I have a deck. Don't be afraid. I know we're pressed for time. I will go quickly through it, but you will have a copy of the PDF as well. I'm Brenda Berg. I am the president and CEO of BEST NC, that's Business for Educational Success and Transformation in North Carolina. I represent the business community advocating for education. We supported this bill because it is both important for ensuring students get access, but the fact of the matter is, as business leaders, we can't afford to lose one talented student in the pipeline, much less, in our case, thousands of talented students who are leaking out of the pipeline. Really quick sidebar, I am so happy to be with you today because I am from Minnesota, and the author of this bill is from my hometown. My parents lived in North Branch when I was born. I grew up in a suburb of Minneapolis, and my mom is from Bemidji, and my niece is about to get married there. So coming back to Minnesota in this way to talk about math access is particularly important to me because math was my gateway. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I participated in the UMP program, the University of Minnesota Talented Youth Math Program in the 80s. And if you know anything about that program, particularly in the 80s, and I don't want to date myself, but I was one of very, very, very few females in that program. It might have been, in my recollection, 2 to 5% at the time. So my being able to participate in that class is exactly what we're here about today. It was chance. It was a teacher in the hallway who said, hey, Brenda, there's this thing, right, that you could participate in. It was actually back even all the way in elementary school when I was in the remedial classes when a teacher said, hey, Brenda, I'm going to call your parents because I don't think you should be at that table. We're going to get you some testing, right? So I had these two pivot points in my life that were contingent on having a great teacher who saw something in me, and great parents, frankly, who signed me up for whatever I needed to do, and my parents who drove me to the University of Minnesota every single Thursday for years to complete that program. And the fact of the matter is that's just not the case for so many kids. They don't necessarily have that teacher who sees that spark within them. I think you heard in the prior testimony, Kyrie, same thing, right? Where you don't have that access both to an educator who's going to see that, but also to a parent who's going to be able to shepherd you through to that. And so that's why we have this policy in North Carolina to sort of take away that subjectivity. I'm going to talk briefly about, I've got a lot of information here, but I'm going to talk briefly about the fact that what we identified along the way, the reason that we wanted to do this is that we had tens of thousands of students nominally, meaning on a scale of 1 to 5, they were scoring a 5 on their end of grade assessment who were not being placed into advanced courses. And we know that math matters, right? Most new jobs that require a substantial amount of math or STEM. We also know that taking algebra or in North Carolina Math 1 in 8th grade is one of the single most important definers of whether or not you have post-secondary success, not just whether you go to college, but whether you do well in college. And so getting students that extra nudge to be taking high school courses in 8th grade makes a tremendous amount of difference. And importantly, kids rise to the challenge, right? So what we found is that if you take an above average student and put them into an average class, you're going to lose them. You won't even catch them at that AP class in high school because you'll have lost them in 6th or 7th or 8th grade, and they're not even going to be an option for you in the pipeline. But if you give a student a challenge that they can rise to, as you can see in these data, 91% of middle school students rose to that potential. And so we know this to be true. We also have really good evidence before we even passed the bill that this could work. We had Wake County, the Raleigh area, which is where I live. I was a part of the business community, advocated for this policy in my community. And in 1 year, we had a 44% increase in algebra participation in 8th grade, and student test scores went up, right? So all of the experts in the system were placing kids in classes, and they were saying that they can't do well, but they actually placed up when this happened. Unfortunately, please note in this bullet point, when politics changed the next year, the policy was retracted. So this is part of the reason why it is actually mandated in North Carolina and it is statewide. When I talked with district leaders, they said, we kind of need to have to do this. It has to be a requirement. I appreciate that you're on a different path, but that is something that we heard. they would pass the policy and would get retracted. So early impacts. We passed the legislation actually unanimously. In the very first year of implementation, we had 2,100 eighth graders alone get placed up, and over 8,000 students, as far as we were able to calculate, were impacted in grades 4 through 10. Now remember, we took the nominal approach. Did you score a 5 last year? You're automatically in. We could use value added, and that number would probably quadruple. We estimate 40 or 50,000 students. We could reach them, and they would be successful in 8th grade math. And of course, we're starting in grade 4. So if you test at the end of grade 3, you can go into an accelerated math class in grade 4. A couple of other things that we discovered. One is we discovered North Carolina, like Minnesota, has a lot of rural school districts in particular that they hadn't realized they weren't offering Math 1 or algebra in 8th grade. And now the state is coming in to support to make sure at least that class is available. It's something that was triggered by this bill. Districts also found correlations in subgroups, particularly English language learners, and they learned within themselves that, I guess we had mistaken not being able to speak English for not being able to do math. And again, here we're losing a huge opportunity. And then also we found that other districts were just saying, we're going to do better than this even. Hope County, which is a very, very rural Title I school district, put all of their 8th grade students, I'm focusing on 8th grade because that's where we have the best data. They went ahead and put all of their 8th grade students in Math 1 and doubled the number of students who qualified for Math 2 in 9th grade. And then were able to double up for the other students in 9th grade. Again, single biggest indicator for college success, right? So the next steps for us in North Carolina, one is the very next year we passed a bill that requires the district to report why they didn't place any students up or particular students up. They have to actually explain what the situation was. And then of course, this year without having testing from COVID, the legislature doubled down and said, even though we don't have testing, this is still mandated and you still have to do your best. So I was really pleased to see that we had that kind of support. So also next steps, we will measure and we will enforce this policy. And then next is that, like I said, the bar is kind of really high there. We can move the bar for other value-added measures for mathematics, but then we also believe that we can move to English, science, and gifted programs. Why did we start with math? Obviously, it's a major value add for the economy, but it's also easier for people to get their head around the kind of the linearity of mathematics. If you score a 5 on a math score, it doesn't feel in any way subjective. So we were able to get better buy-in by focusing on math. And the other thing to think about with math, particularly in grades 4 through 10, all of the students are going into a math class. The pie does not get smaller. We're not going to displace somebody to put other students in that class. If you earn it, you get it, right? We should all value that in education. And so we were able to do this and not have a lot of pressure. And then again, repeat, because I promise you, as soon as you pass this, there will be pressure to sort of pull back and kind of go back to the status quo. And the state sort of emphasis on this is going to be very important for you. As you've seen, I put up the policy. I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, I wholeheartedly am thrilled to be here with you today. So glad that my home state of Minnesota is considering this very, very important legislation.
Thank you, Ms. Berg. I appreciate it. And just get you to drop that screen there. So we're going to take one comment, and we're going to get to the last bill. Senator Kunish, go ahead. Muted. You
I
broke
actually had 3 questions, and I guess my question is are any districts in Minnesota doing this now? And what if a student doesn't have that aptitude for math, but they, it's one of those, I think of myself, math was not my thing at all. I was not interested in it. If you sat me down, my brain actually kind of turned off, even though, probably could have done it. What kind of consequences are for those students? And then why was this retracted from some of the other states?
Senator Koran.
Mr. Chair, I think the testifiers will be better able to address that.
Okay, how about Ms. Berg?
So great questions. The first question is that if a teacher or student wants to opt into an advanced course, they absolutely can. So again, this does not preclude anyone else for going into that class. It's just saying that if you've met a certain threshold, you're guaranteed to go into that class. And that is a really important distinction because it is not in any way going to pit anyone against anyone else. And then you asked about retraction. So it was actually districts that had district policies, and there are pressures and it's some, shall we say, biases. I do remember my my shop teacher when I was the only girl in my shop class being very clear that I was not welcome there. So there are certain biases, and there are also certain sort of, as George Bush once said, the soft bigotry of low expectations happens a lot. And so you'll hear from maybe educators, maybe administrators who say, well, leave that up to the experts. We're the experts. But the fact of the matter is, in the end, if a child scored a 5 or whatever your highest rating is on your math, they don't need extra support. They're a high flyer. They're right up there with all of their peers. This is the lowest hanging fruit you can have to push into your honors courses. And also, your policy, as does ours, allows a parent to opt them out, so that you don't have to do that class if you feel like it's just too much for you, it's too rigorous. Again, the data would show that generally that's not the case, even if, that students will soar to that highest potential.
Senator Kunesh, another question?
No, but just the one thing about pressuring kids that aren't quite ready for those kind of courseworks. I know lots of kids, and we talk about the social emotional ability of students at different ages and at different grade levels, and a kid might score pretty well in a certain area on a test, but still not have the maturity or the self-control for a really rigorous. So I'm glad to hear that parents have the option to not participate in those sort of courses if that's the case. So that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kunesh. Senator Koran, you want to wrap up?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we've covered, in lieu of time, we've covered the merits of the bill thoroughly, and I think it's a program we should consider, and I believe you're laying this open, correct?
Senator Koran, you're very kind. So with that, Senate File 1554 as amended, we held over possible inclusion. Thank you, Senator Koran, and thank you, testifiers. Appreciate it. Last and
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Last up is Senator Coleman, returning with Senate File 1709, and we have an amendment here too, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do.
Senator Coleman moves Senate Amendment A1 amendment, author's amendment for 1709. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Adopted your amendment, Senator Coleman. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've shortened my introduction down quite a bit in the reference of time, but this bill is very important to me, as suicide prevention education efforts have been a big part of my life since losing a friend to suicide in 2014. This bill seeks to re-up funding to make online suicide prevention training available for teachers to help them identify students in need and feel confident in how to properly intervene. Suicidal thoughts and tendencies are often so easy to overlook, and I think this training is absolutely critical in order to give our teachers the skills they need to catch it as early as possible. And with that, I'll leave it to my wonderful testifiers.
All right, thank you, Senator Coleman. We have two testifiers, and I hate to be prejudicial, but there's a very good chance, highly possible, almost very likely and highly probable this bill will be in the omnibus bill. So please keep that in mind. You don't have much to prove to us regarding this thing, so please proceed. Oh, I'm sorry, I should tell who up first. Ms. Downey, you're up first, then Mr. Smith from NAMI, you're up after that, okay?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the time to provide a really short update and summary of how the training has been going so far. So the training was rolled out in May, and it is available to all public, charter, tribal, and private schools. To date, I checked this morning, we have over 6,000 activations of the training, 6,009 to be exact. We've had 5,043 completions so far to date. That's an 84% completion rate. In these trainings, there's an elementary, a middle, and a high school version are available for all staff within schools, not limited to teachers, but administrative staff, paraprofessionals, food service, transportation staff, maintenance staff. And providing a training like this provides an opportunity for not just teaching staff, but all staff to gain skills important to student wellness and safety. Participation, satisfaction results, they're given a survey after the training, before and after actually. And 99% have rated the training good to excellent. 95% have said it was relevant to their school experience, and 95% would recommend it to others. And a training like this provides common language, knowledge, tools, consistency for all staff. And I'll leave with a quote that I have from a visual arts teacher from the Pequot Lake School District. And this is Dan Devine, and he says, I found the Cognito training beneficial to me because it's like real scenarios. The training allows me to work through interactive role play in a safe environment. After the training, I believe I'm better equipped to address my at-risk students who are struggling and not just pass them off or shy away from the hard situations. Each person, teacher has a platform to impact a student life. Cognito training reminded me to stay the course, be a positive voice, listening ear to each student I encounter. Thank you.
Ms. Downey, I have a quick question. So this 265, I think you worked with MDE to put this out and get a vendor. So this pays for the vendor to set up the training, maintain the website, maintain the class material for online, correct? Yes?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so in that, so it was 2019 that the appropriation was made. So since the appropriation's been out there, 6,000 teachers have accessed?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And the course is how long? An hour, 2 hours?
The course is on average an hour, but schools and districts that have been rolling out the initiative have used it. It does qualify for the hour of suicide prevention training. So they're using it to share their referral protocols as well and infuse additional mental health training. So minimally it is an hour, but schools are doing up to 2 hours and some more depending on what their professional development committees choose to do.
Thank you. Mr. Smith from NAMI, welcome to the committee. Please state your name and who you're with for the record.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Sam Smith, and I'm the Public Policy Coordinator for NAMI Minnesota, and I'm here to testify in support of Senate File 1709. I'll be brief and just note that student mental health needs are increasing. Were increasing before the pandemic. As students return to the classroom, it is crucial that every teacher and school staff person can recognize the signs of a mental illness, possess the skills to build rapport and engage the student, and have the knowledge of when to refer a student for outside help. And with that, I'll thank everyone for their time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and thank you for NAMI and keeping in touch and the work you do. So, Ms. Kaput, is that it? Okay, all right, great. So I will just add that we've talked about it several times now that Mr. Smith is correct. The issues are always there, but prior to the COVID issue and the shutdowns, it was getting worse. And I have a bias, and I'm obsessed with the problems social media and digital screen time has caused with our children. And of course, the shutdowns and COVID has had an extra impact. So anything we can do to bridge the gap might be vitally important. So thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Ms. Downey. And Senator Coleman, thank you for working on it. Got any final words?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you for hearing this bill, and I am so glad to hear that you have some bias in favor of passing this through the omnibus bill, so thank you.
Thank you. So members, Senate File 1709 as amended, be held over for possible inclusion. Thank you. So members, that concludes business today. We do have we have one bill on Wednesday, and we'll take up these 2 vehicle bills on Wednesday as well and get them moved on. So I think that's it, right, smart people? Okay, that is it. So members, we're adjourned. Thank you for your time and your comments in the debate. We're adjourned.